This is OPI Structure Part 7, Import. This module shows how to import data into Excel from an external source and drop it into a structured table in Excel. This is implementation of OPI Paths 3 and 4. Path 3 imports using an Excel data connection. Path 4 imports using PowerQuery. Now for bringing data in from an external source and putting it into an Excel structured table. You'll do this, for example, in PowerOpI to bring in the data exported from Microsoft Project into an Excel XLS file so that you can connect those dates to build or integration tasks. Path 3 does that using an Excel data connection. To set up the data connection, remember you use the Existing Connections tool on the data ribbon. So follow the sequence: Excel Data Ribbon, Get and Transform section, Existing Connections button. At the bottom of the Existing Connections pane, click Browse for More, and then browse for an access.accdb file or an Excel file. A window pops up showing data sources you can select. From an access.accdb file, select the table, probably called RNG table name, or query, probably called lowercase q query name, to use as the data source. Or from an Excel file, select a named range like RNG table name, or a worksheet like worksheet name $. The Import Data pane pops up. Select the table item, then select where to put the table to be created. Once the table is brought in, you can add calculated fields to it, supporting structured references, of course. They'll update when you refresh the table. If you expect that this table will be used in the database, add the linking code VBA discussed in the section on connecting a structured table to a database. You can also add the new table to the relinking table shown in the discussion on linking in another session on this channel. This will provide help relinking the table if its source file is moved. You can bring in data from an external source, putting it into an Excel structure table using PowerQuery, as we described as Path 4. In a PowerOpI application, for example, you'll be using this to bring in the dates file exported from MS Project into Excel. You can join the resulting structure table with other tables for allocation and product structure BOM to connect dates to builds, integrations, and other scheduled tasks. To use PowerQuery, remember you use the Get Data tool on the data ribbon. So follow the sequence: Excel Data Ribbon, Get and Transform section, Get Data tool, then either From Database or From File, then either From Access or From Workbook. A window pops up showing data sources you can select. From an access.accdb file, select a table, probably called RNG table name, or query, probably called lowercase q query name, to use as the data source. From an Excel file, select a named range like RNG table name or a structured table. Click Load to create a structured table in Excel named after the source, or you can click Load to rename the table, or click Edit to customize the import. Once the table is brought in, you can add calculated fields to it, supporting structured references. They'll update when you refresh the table. If you expect that this table will be used in the database, add the linking code VBA discussed in the section on connecting a structured table into a database. You can also add the new table to the relinking table discussed in the linking section in another session on this channel. This will provide help relinking the table if its source file is moved. And you can launch the PowerQuery editor from Ribbon Data, Get Data, launch the PowerQuery editor to edit the query, and you could normalize the table from there. There's a separate module in this channel on normalization. This concludes the OPI structure sequence. More video sequences on this channel will cover use with Microsoft Project Gantt plans, building images for Microsoft Project using MS Visio, handling of dates, BOM table structure, data normalization for joins and pivots, use with SQL Server, common table structures, system development considerations, schedule optimization, and OPI deployment configurations.